Welcome to Two Bitches in a Broom podcast. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode, 29. And the topic for this week is going to be dun 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 stages of spiritual awakening, what to expect. Fun.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's great. I think that I know we've covered spiritual awakening in past episodes. So actually moving yourself through the steps,
Sure.
you those that are listening and watching to this can head back to our previous episodes. I do believe we have it labeled too,
Yeah.
process of awakening for yourself.
Mhm.
Uh, but I feel like there's a lot of things that come with that kind of hit you from left field that you don't really expect
I
with
agree.
that. Yeah. So,
There's several stages that people
mhm,
experience, and no two people's paths are going to look the same,
right, right,
like my journey is greatly different than yours.
right. Yes.
So it's going to be that way I believe it's going to be that way for everybody.
Hmm.
But I think understanding those phases and stages or steps, however you want to phrase it really can be a guide. Um,
Hmm.
because the spiritual process is so complex. And sometimes you can feel like, I'm not doing anything, but I think after we discuss it, you'll see, no, you're right where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be in
Hmm.
that space right now. That's part of the process. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like just even with clients and students that I've worked with through the process, you get hyper focused on that internal dive and that internal alignment that they get surprised when other things in their external environment
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah.
So and I feel like this is where, if at least if anything, you're going through those stages or you're not feeling like much is happening for you, and after we talk about it, then you can remind yourself, yeah, you are. Or when you feel that burst of need, you can be like, okay, calm down.
Yeah. It'll be
One or
okay.
the other.
It'll be okay.
You'll
Yeah.
be fine. You'll be fine. So what is one stage that comes to your mind when it comes to the what to expect?
I think the initial phase, that's how I'm
Mm.
going to praise it.
Mm-hmm.
The initial phrase actually can feel like you're disillusioned with your current life.
Mm-hmm.
With it can very much challenge your previously held beliefs. And I also believe that when people are experiencing an awakening, it's triggered by a significant life event or
Agreed.
maybe an accumulation of feelings and emptiness or just dissatisfaction with uh, the material realm in general. It's where people go through this pervasive period where they start to sense that there's more to life than what there is, like what they see. They know there's more, they just don't know what it is. It
Mm-hmm.
leads to this like profound inner search, the quest, you know what I mean?
Right.
The quest for that deeper meaning. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what propels people into um the next phase. Really, it is that quest, but at the beginning you're just kind of like, there's more. I knew there is. What is it?
Yeah, it's that searching for, I find like I see through some individuals have like that little, all of those little tidbits, like you said, just keep piling, piling, and piling up until that kind of internal explosion happens. And just even getting tired of existence and how it is now. I find too some people experience where the things that they've known to be true before just don't sit with them
Mm-mm.
anymore,
Mm-mm.
or
Yeah,
people like that they were solely subscribed to just don't sit with them anymore.
that's a
And then,
perfect
yeah,
description.
and then that quest ensues, but you don't know what that looks like. You just know that you need to figure out why are we all here? What does this mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I always say, you didn't come to work a 9 to 5, and then that's not all that entails.
You know, I don't know how many of our viewers know tarot or read tarot, but I really think that an awakening is like the Tower card. It's that stirring
Oh,
conscious,
yes.
that
Yep.
initial phase, because again, like I said, I believe there's an event, a bunch of experiences. There's this realization
Mm-hmm.
that shakes the foundation of what you believe to be true about yourself, the world, your place in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think. And that's what leads you to that deeper questioning, to find
Mm-hmm.
those truths beyond what you thought to be true before. I
Yeah.
really do. When I'm sitting here, that's what I'm seeing is that tower
Yeah.
card.
I like that. That's perfect because it truly is. It's that tower energy
It
that
is.
comes and dismantles everything. And
Yeah.
I feel like then you have this zest of the quest
Yeah.
and knowing what is there. I also feel like too, what follows from that is, in what I've seen, is a sense of like also confusion because you don't know where to go. You don't know, like, tower energy is literally taking everything and like flipping it upside down.
Sure.
And then what do you do with it? Um, so I feel like there's
Then you
that
turn
zest.
into the fool.
Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
turn into the fool,
Yeah, the
and
full
then you
card.
you begin your quest
Yeah,
down the line, on your path. And there's so much discovery that comes with the confusion.
sure.
I tell everybody who goes through this, navigating this stage, because one, I've seen, can get frustrated
Hmm.
and overwhelmed,
Hmm.
and just really thirsty for more, but struggling to push forward because you don't know where you're going just yet. But to look at it as a fun, exciting time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much fun in the discovery
Oh, yeah.
of your path,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There is. I think that when you, I think that, like I said, it provokes that quest, that search, looking for knowledge, looking for what else there is. I really truly believe that is what provokes you to confront your shadow. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also why a lot of people experience the night of the dark soul because
Oh
they
yeah.
get that confrontation. I mean, it's arguably one of the most challenging stages. You're facing your deepest fears, your insecurities, any unacknowledged aspects of yourself. It's this profound internal struggle of your disillusionment,
Mm-hmm.
ego starts to dissolve and you start to feel disconnected from
Right.
everything.
Oh
So,
yeah.
there can be feelings of despair, but it is so crucial for your spiritual growth because it's clearing away all of your bullshit beliefs, the illusions that you had.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I think
Stand
it's,
there for a minute.
you go through your awakening, and when you go through the initial phase, that veil just comes crashing down, tower, right? That
Yeah,
veil, you no longer look at the world the same. You
never.
no longer look at people, interactions, even simple conversations the same.
Hmm.
And I feel like there is that dichotomy of both energies of feeling excited for what's to come,
Yeah.
but also everything you've known to be true is falling apart, and which leads you into your dark night of the soul, the confrontation
Yeah.
of self within, of all that systems in place, all
Yeah.
of the things that this, the, what do we call it, like the lower vibrational world operates in.
Mhm.
Because essentially that's what it is, right? You're
Yeah.
going through the initial phase awakening, you've embarked on raising your vibration,
Yeah.
and raising your vibration comes with seeing through the illusion
Sure.
and, pushing past the veil. So dark night of the soul, absolutely, that sets you up for it. And it is, I feel, this is probably my own personal opinion, but one of the most challenging phases of a whole awakening process. Because I find like this is an area too where your outer circle starts to change
Hmm.
and adjust.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like a lot of people go into this hermit phase at first. So you just want to like the disconnection that you talk about,
Absolutely.
just no desire to do anything that you've done before, to
Yeah.
engage in social settings and
Mhm.
life. Um, that's because you're in the dark night of the soul phase. So it's that internal hermit
Yep.
energy. It's the,
Yeah.
it's that energy.
You're like, well, I don't fit in here, but I
Yeah.
don't fit in with my old paradigm,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't reached this other paradigm that I perceive to be true for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the hell do I fit in this picture of life? And that can be very challenging. That can be very,
Mm-hmm.
very challenging. I think it can, anyways. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Shadow work is so important. I always talk about it, but it's so important to your path that I absolutely, in my professional opinion, believe that you cannot be a profoundly gifted metaphysician unless you have absolutely walked that shadow path. I do.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
I
Yeah.
believe you can sense things, you can feel things, you may get glimpses of things, but you will never have that autonomic, easy connection with spirit unless you do that.
Right. You confront your own shadow.
Yeah.
And, those that choose not to,
Mhm.
um, and in a practitioner setting, who choose not to and still engage as a practitioner, all that simply means, the way I look at it, is your frequency just stays stagnant.
Mhm. Yeah.
And how are you going to, at least again, maybe my own opinion, but how are you going to be a guiding light for others when you yourself
Mhm.
are choosing to stay stagnant
Mhm.
by not confronting your own shadow,
Right.
right? How can you guide others or be that
Yeah.
waymaker when you're not? You're not even that for yourself. That sounds a little harsh, but that's
No,
just how
it's
I feel
it's
about it. It
true.
is what it is.
It is. It's
Um,
100% true, you know?
yeah.
And we are living i- in Western culture where we are spoon-fed, feel guilty for everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's people that feel guilt simply by being a certain race, by being a certain gender, by being born into a certain financial security within
Mm-hmm.
their culture. Their religion, there's guilt for everything. And the moment that you feel shame or guilt, you just brought your vibration down to 50. And that's why shadow work is important, because you embrace those aspects of yourself and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of go, take it or leave it, peeps. I don't care. You know, you and not in the fake it till you make it, but really believe
Right.
it, and imbibe it, and thrive in that energy, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've always had a thing with the fake it till you make it.
Yeah, me too. Me
I
too.
couldn't, I would be like, maybe I'm broken because that never works for me. because if I'm not feeling it, if it's not a belief that's ingrained in my energy signature, this is even way back before. Uh,
Sure.
I can't fake it till I make it. That's why I'm so really big on acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Acknowledge where you're at, acknowledge what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, because the fake it till you make it just doesn't, it's like the terminology that people like, it was a big thing before, and I'm hopefully it's gonna
I
die
think it
off,
was
is
like
the
in the 90s was
yeah,
fake it till you make it, if
fake
I'm
it till
not
you make it.
mistaken.
And then came like the hustle, like you have to hustle,
Oh my
hustle,
God.
hustle. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, no,
Yeah.
that's no, that sounds
There
like a
was
bad time.
there was so many people that would have like plaques and stuff all over the wall, the hustle, the grind, the girl boss, and
Mm-hmm.
all this jazz. And I'm like, yeah, you wanna take that down. That
Yeah.
all you're doing is reinforcing that now you believe that you must do, go, go, go in order to achieve anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
Well,
no.
just just feel it for a second. I mean, and
Yeah,
those that are listening and watching this, if you still carry those words in your everyday life or
sure.
see it, I just challenge you, sit with that word itself, feel the vibration of it.
Yeah, because I think that I don't, at least for me, I don't have to work hard. I don't want to work hard. I should not have to work hard to have an abundant life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoy what I do and I do work a lot of hours,
Right.
but
But
I'm
there's
choosing
passion
that
behind it.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm choosing that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to say, Charlie, you got to work 12 hours a day for so many years or whatever, I'd be like, I'm not doing that. You've lost your mind.
Right.
I'm not doing that, you
Yeah.
know? That sounds like nutbag crazy, you
That's
know?
not a fun time.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time. So, yeah, but I think that that phase will lead you into, um, what can I call this? The glimpse,
Mm.
where you get to experience the divine.
Oh,
After you have
yes. Yeah,
endured
yeah.
that darkness, there comes this
Mm-hmm.
moment of clarity, this profound mystical experience where you start to feel like undescribable connection with the divine, the universe, your true self, but it's fleeting. It's very
Mm-hmm.
powerful. It's a powerful reminder that there is a higher reality behind that pain, that suffering. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what, like, if I tend to refer to ourselves as vehicles in this life.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the gas for our car so we can keep going on that spiritual path. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
feel like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you get that glimpse. You're now starting to procure practices, you're meditating. You may not understand what the hell you're seeing, sensing, or experiencing, but you're getting it.
Mm-hmm. I call it the honeymoon phase.
Oh,
So
that's
like
good. That's a good
you
one. Yeah.
come you come out of that first initial dark night, that big hit in the beginning, and then you enter this honeymoon bliss in this phase, and you're feeling great because you've just you see the light at the end of the tunnel of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the part where you finally start to accept that even your outer circle is changing. Your day-to-day life or activities, maybe the things that you engaged in before, are shifting, and and
Yeah.
then you get that bliss of spirit where you're feeling so aligned and you're seeing all the signs and you're doing all of this and you feel so connected and all of that stuff again. And it is a fleeting time
Yeah.
period because I feel like too, I feel like spirit sets that up as kind of a assurance coming from such a dark place, such a heavy transition, right? When you go through your dark night of the soul,
Mhm.
of, ensuring that reminder that you're not alone, that you didn't do all that for nothing, it's part of your alignment and stuff.
And you're
Um,
gonna feel like you're not moving forward and you're moving back. You're gonna feel
mhm,
like there's gonna be moments where you're gonna be like, why did I even do this? I promise you,
mhm.
everybody
Oh
experiences.
yeah.
You are supposed to experience it because it's tearing everything away from you. And like this blindfold that you've had on, and it's going, no, see everything for it, how it really is.
Mhm.
Not for, like you're looking through rose-colored glasses. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh
cut you.
yeah. No, you did it. But that is it. It's like you go through that honeymoon phase and then you have to settle back into your day to day,
Mhm.
right? What that looks like. And for a lot of people, that little part, that fleeting part when you come into this next phase can feel like you've just, reverted backwards, or you're left behind, like,
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
something of the sort. But it is you settling into your day to day and giving you the opportunity to see everything for what it really is. Remember, through the process, the veil is coming undone.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like when you go through that, when you come out the other side of that dark night of the soul, you start to then move to this glimpsing state that I talked about, but you revisit and you start to kind of purge stuff. Once you get
Mm-hmm.
that glimpse, you're going to start, I don't know what to call it other than like
Mm-hmm.
you're purging stuff. You're
Yeah.
working, you're still working on yourself. You're letting go of limiting beliefs. You're releasing people, places, environments, things that isn't really um serving you. It's no longer resonating with you. This
Mm-hmm.
can be a really intense time of transformation.
Oh yeah.
That can be physically. I've seen this happen to so many people. Physically, they will change. Their wardrobe's going to change. Um, they will start to really focus on self-care. What feels good to me? What is right to me? Does this feel true to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that kind of steps into that next one, which is living your truth,
Oh yeah.
essentially. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I really truly believe.
Yeah.
You're then going to live in alignment with your true self, your spiritual values. Um, Relationships are going to change, careers, lifestyle, but there
Mm-hmm.
is a peace that comes with that. The acceptance of this is what is meant for me, along with that desire to serve and contribute positively
Mm-hmm.
to the world in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when you go through that phase two, right, when you're coming into, living your truth and what that looks like, I feel like there's also a little challenge in there, that I've seen, where you've now become aware of certain things and enlightenment and insights and things like that.
Hmm.
And that can feel that can feel uncomfortable or challenging around, as your circle is already changing, because
Yeah.
now you want to share that information or challenge the
Oh, yeah.
person in front of you with what you now know
Hmm.
versus what their belief is.
Hmm.
So, and I feel like that is also another element, because of course, as you and I both know, and a lot of people, but shadow never goes away.
Hmm.
there's always there's always onion layers to uncover. It's never like as hard hitting as the first time, but there's always things. So I feel like some people get stuck in that part where they now have come to these realizations and these awarenesses, and those people that still are in their circle in some capacity don't carry that, and they feel challenged to challenge their belief system and can cause some stuff. So
Absolutely.
I feel like this is also part of accepting your truth, but also accepting that and the peace with that people are going to believe what they're going to believe.
Mhm.
Their path, I like you said when we started this, your path is not their path is not your path.
Yep.
You may have come to yours at this time, and maybe they haven't come to theirs yet. You know, none of your business. Well, not my monkey, not my circus, not my problem, kind of thing. But I feel like that's something that is comes on unexpectedly with people in their awakening process, is how challenged they feel with what they now know, and those people around them, whatever they carry, whatever their
Yeah.
belief system is. And then you come to that phase that Charli just ended with, of the acceptance of your authentic truth, but also acceptance of people and their path where they're going to be.
Yeah.
I feel like people tend to think, and uh let's see what if you agree with this. People tend to think that that honeymoon phase
Mhm.
is enlightenment, is
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm
I
I
know.
am good vibes, I am high
Yeah.
vibes. And
Yeah, I know. I
that's
know.
not it. Oh
No.
yeah,
I
I do
love
that.
watching it though, because
Yeah.
there's so much joy. There's so much joy in people at that
Mm-hmm.
very first stage that it's beautiful to watch that, unfold. It's almost like the little petals of a flower. I
Yeah.
I do enjoy watching it, but it is true. There's a lot of individuals that go, wait a minute, I don't remember when they hit Night of the Dark Soul. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember this being in the handout.
Right.
Nobody really talks about it that much.
Yeah.
But I think that the something I do want to say is that that's a good point. I look schizophrenic, but I'm hearing stuff as
Oh,
I'm
you're fine.
talking.
I do that all the time.
So, for whoever's watching, whoever needs to hear this, please know it doesn't mean this is going to happen in 1 month, this is going to happen in the next month. This can go on for months, years, even.
Mm-hmm.
There is no like timestamp of how long it takes. It's very independent on what is right for you. How long must you endure the shadow work before you go, okay, I'm ready to tackle it?
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
long must you kind of endure integrating your highest and best truth that you're living? Um, that's very independent. Sometimes that takes time. I think the next general phase would be, and this is, we're getting more into the advanced, somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
been doing this for a while. And the next one would be like what I have always labeled as oneness,
Yes.
understanding that you have like this profound sense of unity, this interconnectedness with all life, that illusion of separation between you and others, between you and the universe, completely dissolves. And you start to understand that love, compassion, and empathy are what guides you in your existence. That, I think, is the next logical step in that. If I had to say phases,
Mm-hmm.
that would
Yeah.
be, in my opinion. But as far as shadow work, just so you know, you're going to go through Night of the Dark Soul. You're going to visit shadow work for the rest of your life, friend.
Oh, yes.
Anybody who says you're going to do this for a couple of weeks or do this book, read this thing, watch this video, they're full of puppy shit, okay? Because it's something you're going to have to do over and over and over again. And what it does is it gives you the tools, so when something comes up and it triggers you, you understand how to handle it. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you're never going to be triggered again,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I think
It
that's
is.
important.
I feel like again, a misconception too in the bandwagon
Yeah, I know.
community
Yeah.
is you take these oils, you do these practices, you finish these prompts, you do all this stuff, and then congratulations, it's done. You're
Mhm.
now enlightened. No, you're never going to uh you're never going to navigate it the same way that you did in the beginning. Doesn't mean you're not going to ever come across it or receive or contend with it with your shadow. Because
Yeah,
if you are moving on and you're progressing along your path and you are really truly addressing your shadow and everything, when you get confronted with something, it's another layer of that insight to look at. It's just even a broader perspective. And I feel like too, a much deeper appreciation for said topic of
yeah,
whatever it is, you know?
yeah.
And it's not, I mean, so long as you have breath in your lungs, you're have the opportunity to learn,
Right.
uh, you know, with your alignment. And that's, yeah, you're right. It's not ever going to change. But I feel
Yeah.
like it's like the full circle kind of moment when you step back and it's almost like coming back into this piece of how I equate it with in the beginning, you feel disconnected. You have this awakening, the veil drops, you feel disconnected. And then in that completion of this cycle of this phase, then you come into where you settle into this piece of oneness,
Hmm.
and you come back to recognize we all are interconnected. We all play a role,
Right.
which allows you to be able to sit back and approach every little breadcrumb of shadow with that appreciation and um with that broader perspective, you know. Because if you're still hitting the shadow coming off of that stuff and you're still taking it in that kind of way as like step one,
Yeah.
uh, and think you're enlightened or I've done it, maybe we need to circle back
Yeah.
and go there, you know. And the timeline is gonna look different for everybody.
It will. You're going to continue to unfold. This is an eternal evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual awakening is not a destination, it is a journey without an end. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you will continue to deepen your connection with the divine, you will continue to grow. There will be this constant unfurling of
Mm-hmm.
higher states of consciousness. But remember, these stages are not linear, they can overlap,
Right.
they can
Right.
reoccur in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's journey is unique, and the experience of an awakening can vary widely in its expression, in its timeline. I think that the path of a spiritual awakening is both very challenging and incredibly rewarding. I think it's an opportunity to provide you with profound insights, a deeper connection, and the essence of who you truly are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Something I've said many times in different books is, your puzzle piece in the bigger puzzle of life. You
Right.
know, that's really what
Oh
it's
yeah.
about, how you fit, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Right. It's finding that I feel like too, adding to that is also really just, you know, you take that journey to know thyself
Hmm.
and accept thyself and really start to understand and see how your ripple effect matters. I
Absolutely.
think oftentimes people discount themselves because they are not on a stage doing something. They are not,
All the
uh,
time.
they don't have the audience. They don't have all of these things. And I'm just like, but you interact with people
Yep.
when you live your life. Just by you living your life, you interact with people. Think about all of, I always like liken it to what is that called when you like toss a pebble, you skip rocks? Oh, skip rocks.
Yeah.
You toss a pebble
Yeah.
into the lake and you just see that like ripple effect. That's you. You are the pebble that goes into that collective consciousness. So that your presence matters and your vibration and frequency matters. I think people need to stop
Absolutely.
discounting yourself in that way. You
I
know,
I agree.
even for sensitive souls and gifted souls, you know, whatever label you want to use. And I've seen this with people who are like, well, I don't have any desire to be a reader. I don't have any desire to be a practitioner. And like, okay,
You don't
that ain't
have
gonna
to.
make a that ain't gonna make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
But your alignment is still gonna be there,
It is.
you know?
It absolutely is. And I think especially now,
Mm-hmm.
especially right now,
Oh
um,
yeah.
we have this wonderful eclipse that is
Yes.
heading. Uh, and just so our viewers know, we really talked about this beforehand. I'm like, what if we talk about this? I
Mm-hmm.
know it's going to
Yes.
be, I know it's going to be, I don't know, kind of taboo. I don't know. Um, but it's something we talk privately about frequently. And I'm like, let's talk about this, you know? Um, we have this eclipse coming. It's going to be on the 8th. And then CERN is firing up their machine to go megawattage. I don't know the exact numbers. I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
woefully prepared, but they are raising it at the exact same time. And now we have, this disease that
Mm.
it is
I
the
will,
disease.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will leave that to you to pronounce.
Yeah. It is called Prapo Metamorphosia. I know. You know what?
Mhm.
I'll put it down below
Yes.
where we're talking. And I'm not even going to pretend that I didn't butcher it. I'm not even going to pretend. I did the best that I
Yeah.
could do with what I have. There's a hell of a lot of consonants there.
There's a lot. Yeah. In other words, shorten it, it's PMO.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually what they do. If you were to like Google and look it up and all that jazz,
Mm-hmm.
that's how they Google it. But for the sake of my own sanity and our viewers, I'm just going to call it the disease where you see demons.
Yeah.
I think that is very interesting. I think it's wow, that's very interesting. We have, this lady on the plane that's seeing them and
Mm-hmm.
everything shuts down. And then she's like, no, 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 I'm fine. Then shortly thereafter, it comes out, and there was actually another person that happened to that
There's
was
another
very
incident.
public.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was very public, but most people know the lady on the plane just because all the memes and stuff.
Right.
So, um, to be very clear, my personal and professional opinion as a metaphysician is that I believe they are truly seeing what is there. And I believe that this is a label that is an scapegoat saying, no, 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 what you see, it's a disease. I find it to be very intriguing that it affects their face, their ears, their hands, and not their clothes. Like if you visually have an impairment, and I'm just trying to make this make sense to my sciencey brain.
Yes.
You have a visual impairment, it is going to affect the entire scope of what you are focusing on, not aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is
Yeah.
going to sound really out there, but I actually talked to my optometrist about this. I
Uh-huh.
did.
I expect nothing less
Yeah.
from your sciencey
I
brain.
know. I'm like, make this make sense. And I am repeating because I don't want to take credit, but I am repeating what he had said. And that's why I want to disclose this. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
say his name, but he's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't make sense to me. And I am trying really hard because I am that I know it's funny that I'm in this line of work, but I am that
Mhm,
prove this to me kind of girl,
mhm,
So now I'm like, prove to me that there is this illness. Show me through our human physiology how this happens. And the response is, well, the human brain is a funny thing. It's strange and unusual. So are demons, bro. So are demons.
mhm. And it's not
Like,
with everybody either. It's not
yeah.
it's not a thing
It's just
that they
picking
see
out
with
certain people.
like cherry picking
Yeah.
individuals who they
I
see, right?
mm-mm.
Yeah.
I think people are waking the hell up. I think
Mhm.
that they are seeing what shamans has seen since the dawn of time. That's what I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
I believe that this energy is so impactful, and I believe this is why this particular podcast was so important to do now, because I truly believe that this eclipse, this energy that's behind it, is going to blast open some people's um pineal door.
Mhm.
Literally, they're going to
Mhm.
be like, I see
Yeah.
sounds,
Yeah.
there's so many people already that are saying, like, I can see colors on the water. I see all these strange colors in the sky. And it's like, yeah, that's called your third eye working.
Right, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
just seeing what
Yes.
shamans have seen since the dawn of time.
Right.
And everybody thought we were these weird, crazy, scary people. And they're like, oh, they work with demons. No, bro, we see them. You know what I mean? We
Mhm. Mhm.
know everything that exists around us. We had no choice but to come to a space of understanding all the energies. We didn't have a choice because that's how we live. You know,
Mhm.
there was no labels for us. There was no take this pill and make that go away. And
Yes.
apparently that's the scoop, there's supposed to be
Mhm.
some medication that will um stop that from occurring. And the first thing that went into my, and I trust me, I looked for it. There's nothing on Google that talks about it, says what it is, because I bet you $100 if I was researching it, guarantee it's going to shut down the pineal, calcify it, and probably dry up the thymus, because those two work so well together.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. I even just as you're so I don't have a sciencey brain, but I do live in the world of my that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, as even just as a shaman and looking at through the lens always of, wow, that's interesting. Look at how that lines up. We know that the veil is dropping. You
Mhm.
see societal structures across the world breaking down.
Yeah.
You see all of these things happening.
Hmm.
You're seeing more reports of glitches in the matrix of
Hmm.
unexplainable phenomena
Yeah.
happening across the board, right?
Yeah.
And I think, wow, how interesting is that?
It
That we
is.
are, and for those of us in this field who pay attention to and kind of are observing the current of the collective and all the things that are unfolding, it really is, and seeing how people are responding, um, it really does pique curiosity of, wow, look at how these things are lining up and look at
Right.
how all of these things are happening. So is it no surprise that now this disease dis-ease
Yeah.
has made its way to the public forefront
Yeah.
because more people are having this experience happen.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, I saw that initial report and I'm like, well, welcome to my world. So this is something that we perceive and have, like you said, we didn't have a choice,
Mm-hmm.
because by all means, uh, we didn't come here and be like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. No, but you know, and I just think part of my logical mind goes, well, if as above, so below. So if the world is evolving, if we
Mm-hmm.
are moving into this, um, what I call is like the choose to and choose not tos.
Mm-hmm.
You choose to align, you choose not to align.
Mm-hmm.
We are separating into two different existences.
Absolutely.
Um, and if that is happening, and the collective and each individual person is evolving,
Mm-hmm.
and we go with, remember, keep in mind, as above, so below. Well, wouldn't everything evolve, right? Isn't the grand scheme of yin yang,
Yeah.
cosmic balance,
If you're
stuff like that?
watching, things are just collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that our number system is being challenged right now?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so interesting to watch everything. There's more people going, wait a minute, this isn't lining up. They're challenging the
Mm-hmm.
calendar system, but there is actually a gentleman who has patented how to correct our numbering system, who
Oh,
actually has patents to correct the numerical system under multiplication, under the guise
oh.
of one multiplying nothing cannot be nothing.
Hmm.
So if you have one, how are you going to multiply that with nothing that doesn't exist and get nothing from that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have
Hmm.
one and you multiply that by another one, how can you only have one?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have one and you're
Multiplying.
multiplying it.
Yeah.
So it was very
Oh, okay.
interesting. And I could totally nerd out with the square roots and all that jazz
Right.
because he absolutely makes perfect sense. And I have seen a lot of people debate saying, well, you're taking the word multiply and really it should say add to. No, ma'am, that is not how it's defined. You can't
Mm-hmm.
change the definition because it suits your
Right, right, right.
belief
Your
structure.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the way it's presented, it's just very interesting because I'm here for it. I love this. I have been waiting. I'm the crypt keeper over here, and I've been waiting my whole life for this. It's a good time to
Yeah.
be alive to watch all
To
of these
witness.
systems
Yeah.
collapse.
I know I talk a lot about like this fucking rock,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it is a very fascinating time to be alive and
it
to
is.
watch the evolution of humanity
Mm-hmm,
and systems around in place and all that stuff. And it's even like I got my kind of little excitement of I saw this report that it is, oh, what was it? I gotta look back for it. But anyways, it was a report that they have found an increase in participation in structured religious buildings.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
and and I get excited like you get excited on science things like that because I think, wow, that's also a structure that's been in place, need and control.
mm-hmm,
It's just part of the old systems.
mm-hmm,
And with more and more people stepping away,
mm-hmm,
leads to, wow, more and more people are now starting to question,
mm-hmm.
which opens the door
I
for
know.
your opportunity to understand your own power.
Yeah, it's a really brilliant time. And I don't get me wrong, my head's not in the sand. I understand
Right, right.
that there are lots of things happening in our world.
Absolutely.
I understand that there is currently this debate and Russia is,
Hmm.
Russia. And uh, but even with that, he is I'm trying to find my words. So he is requiring, he's drafting, there's the word, thanks.
Oh,
He's drafting a whole bunch of people. I believe 150,000 people were drafted. Okay.
wow.
And they are saying, no, we're not doing it. That is
It's,
exciting
yes.
to me
Well, I think,
because if
and
they do it, don't
yeah,
you think was come on,
yeah.
I have 5 kids that are adults that are of the age of drafting. I'm excited to see America watch this and go, well, if they can do it, we can do it.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
then let these politicians go into a room, beat the shit out of each other, and leave us out of it. You know?
Right. But
You
I
know?
have to think, I think too, and again, we're not unaware of the things that are going on,
Sure.
but at the same time, and this could be just our shamanic perspective of it,
Yeah.
each individual soul has contracted and agreed to
Mm-hmm.
serve in their particular setting,
Yep.
in their particular circumstance,
Yep.
and all with the initial agenda and hope to aid in the transition, right?
Yep.
So I
Absolutely.
hear what you're saying, and I hear, these individuals who are refusing
Mm-hmm.
to accept the story
Yes.
as exciting.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't, this is part of that transitional
It
change. And
is.
of course, naturally, right? Even just think of your own self and your own progress, how much we resist our own path.
Mm-hmm.
So think about all these system structures and the power and the control and all that stuff. And when you lose that, they turn into toddler tantrums, right? And
Yeah.
so
Truer statements have never been
right,
said. Yeah. Yeah.
when you resist your own path and your own alignment,
Yeah.
you turn into a toddler tantrum because
Yeah.
you're resisting. So when
Yeah.
they're losing these structures that have been in place for so many years, power and control, when you're losing that, what's the one thing that you can always count on? A toddler tantrum's going to come, and
Absolutely.
people are going to be affected by it. But in the grand scheme of it, each individual soul has agreed to be here at this time to
Mm-hmm.
serve in this particular role to aid in this shift of collective consciousness. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the fascinating part about it.
It
That's the
is.
exciting part about it.
It's
Yeah.
super, it's super great. I am
Yeah.
so, I am anticipating change, and I know there's going to be a lot of
Hmm.
hurt and confusion
Sure.
as we transition through that. So I'm not minimizing that.
Hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm saying that, but I know
Yes.
what the outcome will be, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Hmm.
Anything that empowers you is good. Anything
Right.
that empowers you is good. And I feel that a lot of people are going to feel empowered through this transition.
I agree.
But
And
any
this is,
transition isn't fun. We
yeah,
just talked about the night
no,
of the dark soul.
yeah.
So, I
Even your
mean,
own personal
yeah,
transition is
yeah,
not fun.
it's not going to
And
be fun.
this is why I'm so big on your ripple effect matters.
Hmm.
Because if we multiply that, this person does their align, you stay in your own lane, you focus on your own path and your own alignment, your frequency changes, your vibration rises, the power that you emit out expands, even if it's
Hmm.
just your day to day, even
Hmm.
if you choose to do nothing with your abilities, nothing with your development in a practitioner setting, even if you
Right.
choose not to, your ripple effect still matters.
Absolutely.
So if you continue to multiply that over and over and over by each individual person, wow, what an impact that can have in
Yeah.
aid of this transition,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So it can be challenging for some. I've had multiple talks with individuals about the world state at the moment
Yeah.
and the anxiety and fear and things that it's bringing on. And I tell every single person, it's understandable. Change is never easy. Resistance always comes.
Mhm.
But if you stay in your own lane and you focus on your own alignment and your purpose while you're here, it's going to make a difference.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I don't believe in fear mongering.
mm-mm.
Personally or outwardly, I don't believe in
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
That's why I said for me, even when I train my students and they're doing a reading and they may hit a bump in that person's road, that's how we view it. It's a bump. It's a
Mm-hmm.
bump. You see that light over there? That's their
Right,
future.
right.
That's
Yeah.
what we're going to focus on, that light over there. And that's really what I'm focusing on. I understand that there is this transition that will happen and it's going to be challenging and difficult, and we're already in the midst of it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but the outcome is going to be beautiful. And I don't know
Absolutely.
about who's watching, but I got grandbabies. Yes, I am that old. I have a teenage grandbaby.
Seasoned,
So yeah,
seasoned.
I am seasoned. So, this is their future, and it's great
Mm-hmm.
to know that they are going to have a voice, that they are going to feel empowered, and
Yeah,
they are not going to have to experience what we have tolerated for far too long.
right, right. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah. It is. It's, even just with clients or with students and practitioners in development, that's the key thing always, is the empowerment.
sure.
Where is the empowerment in what you are doing and stuff? And so think about that just on an individual scale.
Right.
Empower yourself. I'm not one for fear mongering either. It just irritates me because I just look at it as such a drag in your vibration.
Yeah.
And,
It's not worth it.
no.
Like
Mm-mm.
I teach everybody all the time. Actually, we were just talking about that. When you get into that, because I know the world is chaotic. I
Yeah.
know it is. I know it is. But right here, right now, you're safe, you're sound, you're secure, all your needs are being met, and just keep bringing yourself to right here, right now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think a lot of the social media stuff that's floating around, you got to be careful, because what you direct your energy to, you are manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So direct your energy to right here, right now. I'm safe, I'm sound, I'm secure, and all my needs are met. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I believe. And even in spite of everything that I know I'm gonna be just fine. It's gonna be okay. You know, yes, there's gonna be bumps in the road, like I said, but you know what? I've been through a lot of bumps. This old girl has seen them all. So, and I'm doing just fine. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great perspective to look at, even just with, you know, for individuals looking at how far they've come along their path. You're still here.
Yeah.
You're still getting up every day. You're
Yep.
still in it,
Yeah.
so don't, like, that's my thing. Like, don't discount yourself. Don't
Yeah.
discount the importance of yourself. And um, I think that's a great uh place to end on for this topic of, right here, right now.
Yeah.
You're safe, you're secure, you're provided for, you're present in the moment, focus on
Sure.
your own lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any last tidbits to add, well,
No,
before we
ma'am.
oh,
No, ma'am.
well, this was an exciting episode. We kind of went all over the place,
I
the
know, but it was
all in the
fun.
same, it
Yeah.
was all in the same arena at the same time.
Yeah.
So um thank you for joining us. I hope that, and we hope that you found this information useful and helpful. It resonates with you. If it does resonate with you, or if you found it helpful, somebody, we do appreciate the energetic exchange and gratitude of sharing this episode with those in your own circle, leaving us comments, liking and sharing, and all the good fun stuff
Yeah, leave a
with
comment.
expanding out, do
Tell
all
us where
the,
you're at,
yeah.
in your own journey. Let us know what your thoughts are. What
Oh
do you
yeah.
feel? Yeah, that's
What do
cool.
you feel? And what is something, that's a great question. What is something that you were surprised by in your own alignment thing that you didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so all right, until next time, thanks for joining us, listening or watching. And yeah, I think we're good. Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.